I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. Okay, today is finally the day that I get to share with my viewers my opinion and my first flight test with the Antigravity A1. Finally, they sent us one for review after it's been out for who knows how long now, but I am happy to tell you, I'm just gonna jump right into this because this video, what you're watching right now, is gonna be my maiden flight. It's the first experience with it ever. I only watched a little handful of the other reviewers' videos of this because I was very jealous about them getting one and drone camps never did. And maybe I'll never get over that, but I do have one now, so I should get over it. And let me tell you, I kept comparing it to the X-Wing Fighter because I just flew one of the most impressive FPV toys that you can buy out there on the planet right now. To me, it was like the holy grail of fixed wing FPV. You should go watch that video if you haven't seen it before. But this one, the A1, is that on sort of a different level and a different experience. It's like going to Disneyland and you have one ride that was like, holy crap, wow, that was crazy. And then they take you on a different ride, and that ride is like completely different than the last one you did. But even though it was different, it was still amazing and fun. This one also seemingly takes me more time on the stick to get used to all the orientations, the buttons. There's like more than 6 buttons around this entire transmitter here. So, and it's a tilt remote. So it's very similar to the Avata 2 if you've seen that one out there, but different again. And it has a yaw a dial right here in the center. And I'll show you some more of that in a full review coming up. But this thing, it took me at least a full battery to get an understanding of actually how it flies. Now, the good thing is for beginners too, as someone who had never flown a drone like this, it flies completely different than like the Mini 4 or the 5. It has its own sort of flight architecture and controls here, and it is weird. I will tell you right away, I don't know what other reviews you've watched on this one, but when you first fly it, the immersive experience is so deep that you'll find yourself disoriented a few times, and you will probably have a bit of vertigo if you are standing up. I've been flying FPV for 12 years, and this is the first time that I experienced vertigo while in these Willy Wonka looking goggles ever. Like, that was the first time I'd ever got a little bit of vertigo and felt like, whoa, because I looked up and then I looked down, and my friend was standing next to me and laughing because I'm sure I can't see my body. I'm sure I was like falling to the side a little bit. But it was a fun experience to experience all that immersive FPV, be able to look around in 360 degrees field of view, up, down, left, right, in a full sphere around you, and you don't see the drone in the view at all when you're moving. So it is a very unique experience for FPV pilots. So if you're already an FPV pilot and you try this, you will see, mark my words, you will see that this feels very different. It's almost like you can feel it more in your body than you can stationary FPV, because it is very different, I'm telling you. So we're gonna go out and fly this today. I'm gonna do a full review later on it, but this is my initial maiden flight video and my reaction to probably the most unique FPV experience on my channel I've ever had. So let's charge up all this stuff together. It's a lot of stuff, I think, as well. It's just a lot of stuff to charge. But we'll take it all out and we'll fly it together after I finally get everything updated and activated in the app. Do that before you go out on your first flight, unlike me. So very important that you do that. But let's do it. Let's go to the field. Here we go. Okay, so this is my maiden flight. Please, if you've never flown this before, the on-screen pointer, it's very similar to like Nintendo Wii. So as I'm pointing this around, I realized that when I squeeze the trigger, it would follow the direction the trigger is squeezed. So it is intuitive, but like if you can see that move that I just made right there, it's like, it's not the same type of drone move you'd typically be doing. So it is a really strange, like magic wand feeling. I was jokingly saying I feel like I'm a flying Harry Potter or something with this magic wand. So as you're pointing it around on the screen,
you're trying to figure out how to navigate this drone too, because not only that, you also have this dial wheel which controls the yaw axis, so you can fly around even more once you get used to using the jog wheel for the yaw. And here I'm yawing to left and right a little bit, trying to just figure all this out, because it's completely different than holding a transmitter in your hand with sticks. The good thing about it is that when I let my friend fly today on the same battery, we had plenty of flight time between me and him, but you know, he didn't crash it. We didn't fly it off into the trees or fly it at each other, because when you kind of let go of things, it'll just sit there and wait for you. And you're moving this little stick all around, and it doesn't change the angle of the drone. So that's like the biggest thing for beginners. It only starts to move when you squeeze the trigger. So that's the only time that you get forward motion out of this drone. So squeeze the trigger a little bit. You can see right there, I just like moved a little bit. And you're also at the same time able to look around with the goggles. And that just adds a whole extra element to it. So I think it's like the freedom of being able to turn all the way around in a 360. And that's what, we kept doing as both of us were flying it right there. We just kept turning around in circles where we were standing. And it reminded me, I told him, I was like, man, this reminds me of like when you're standing in your living room with your Oculus Rift and you almost like bump into your coffee table or crash into your bookshelf, because you just can't see what's around you. You don't know what your body's doing or where it's at. So you want to be standing somewhere where you have nothing around you to walk into, because you will find yourself turning around in a 360. But looking down and then looking back up, that's what caused me like probably the biggest vertigo in this experience. So I'm going to squeeze the trigger a little more and kind of just get some forward speed there, trying to figure out what to do next. It is very confusing, but I think once it all comes together, I feel like the way it flies and these different controls all together at once, the pointer and everything, it will probably allow you to create some really unique type of videos like no other drones have before. I think that's probably the biggest thing about it for creators. So if you're a content creator or something like that, this is not the typical DJI Mini 4, Mini 5 at all. It's a complete departure from any DJI drone I've ever flown. Honestly, hands down, like completely different there. So that I just want to be up forward, up front about that, forward about that. So very different. And really, we're just trying to figure out like, what this thing is doing, because you can do the flight tutorial in the beginning. It does have a flight tutorial, but you're going to find that when you're in a real world setup like today, that it's going to be completely different. So now I just want to like get out into the field a little bit and explore and fly faster. Also, there's a lot of buttons on the transmitter, so you're going to find yourself kind of looking and searching for the flight mode button. Was tucked underneath my thumb, and I was having trouble without kind of peeking outside the goggles to see where that was to change myself from the normal mode to the sport mode. I just really wanted to be in sport mode and be able to fly fast, because this is a huge field, and flying out first, I wanted to dip down in between the rows of corn there, but I knew I would probably not have enough control and crash without mastering these controls yet. But I have to say that once I was in sport mode, it was very fast too. And you guys probably can't tell in this particular video, even though I left the OSD up and there's really no trees around for you to see how much the wind is blowing. Because I think the wind was probably blowing around 15 to 20 that afternoon. And my friend had a hard time landing his plane. It was coming in kind of shaky and just barely made it to the ground without having a tip over. So this quad is under 250 grams. It is very small, but it does handle wind quite well. I did get the wind warning on the screen several times during this flight. So, watch out for that. If you go fly out over the ocean, the good thing about this particular drone is that if you are coming back and you're fighting a headwind, I've seen people just crash their Mini 4 or 5 down into the water. They run out of battery. The Neo series drones, same thing. but this one has an extended battery on it, so you should make it back to home point before you drop out of the air. Out here over the cornfield, I'm not sure how I would find this drone if it went down in the corn. That's the one thing. Like, if it had a total crash and the battery popped out, there's no real beacon to this thing. So if you can install some type of beacon on your drone, you'll probably have a better chance of finding it. I don't know, some people use, if they're using air tags right now or not. But it is flying pretty good. So at this point, I have a little bit better feeling for the pointer. And that was probably my biggest learning curve, was using the pointer. And once I started doing that, I found myself wanting to kind of swoop and fly like FPV style and spin around, and being able to look completely backwards when you're flying forwards too. So the trick to that is like holding the pointer straight, and locking into that direction, and then you turn around and it'll still continue in that same direction, but it'll give you a little rearview mirror that pops up that shows you kind of even a front view mirror of what's actually happening in front of you. So this thing's crazy. But I think that the image quality looks pretty good. I do see a little bit of fishbowl effect to it. Sometimes, like low to the ground, it has a little bit of fishbowl effect. That happens a lot with the 3D type cameras, but you can fix that in the editor. You can make it more or you can make it less. And the Insta360, it's actually the Antigravity Studio. You can download that on Mac or PC, and then you can use a whole bunch of different editing tools. Like the one you see on the screen here is one of the OSD displays that I decided to export for my Maiden flight. So you can, I think there's 3 different types of OSDs that you can choose to put up on the screen. That's like the on-screen display. So here I'm coming back down to the runway, and our battery's getting low at this point. I did do a couple cuts in this flight to keep it a little bit shorter, because again, these batteries last a long time. And today I was using extra power fighting the wind, flying into the wind. But I'm looking forward to taking this one out again and learning more of the flight controls, the modes, and showing you guys like probably some of the best features about this particular drone. So make sure you stay tuned on the channel, because the next video that we make is going to be a pretty cool one. We're going to do a more in-depth full review coming up on this one, because this is one of those drones. It's like a big program to learn on the computer. It's almost like Photoshop in a way. It takes time to get to know this ecosystem of the Antigravity A1, but it's a fascinating one. It's fascinating. So, like, is it worth the money? Absolutely, it's absolutely worth the money, because what you're experiencing here is unique. It's different than any other drone I've ever flown. So you can check it out in the link down below, and catch us on the next one. Take care, you guys. Please do subscribe. Bye-bye.